Welcome to another episode of the brand called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I'm your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm delighted to welcome an accomplished entrepreneur from Bangalore, India, Mr. Sandeep Kumar. Sandeep, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Ashutosh. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Sandeep is the founder and managing director of Baatu Tech. He's also the founder of Enable Tab, which is powered by the Android 12 operating system and is India's leading parental control tablet designed to safeguard children in the virtual realm and leverages the power of artificial intelligence. So, Sandeep, before we talk about the work that you're doing, tell me about your own journey and what has taken you into the world of technology.
So I started into business, as we call it, at the age of around 20.
Mhm.
So my first business was a recruitment agency or recruitment consultancy, as it's called. And while doing it, I also was the second person in India to manufacture and launch pepper spray.
Mhm.
And in 13 years back, I got into real estate and I built apartments in and around Bangalore.
Wow.
And around 4 years back, there was an urge to get into a technology space which had some sort of meaning.
Mm.
So, and then we found a huge problem that is unattended, that is children using technology, at a very young age, and it's catching up even to toddlers today. So that's where the idea of Baatu Tech came from, and that's how we've started.
Amazing, amazing. So, you also built a Baatu Parenting app. Can you tell me how does the Baatu Parenting app work in conjunction with all the technologies that a child is got access to?
So first, what we did was just to give you a brief about what we have actually done.
Mm.
Children emulate parents, as simple as that. So if you give a child a kiddie tab with just cartoon and certain animations running on it, they tend to get bored very quickly.
Mm.
So what we did was we bought the Enable tab, which has technology developed inside it and hard coded it, which wherein the entire app can be monitored and controlled to a parenting app.
Mm.
So the parenting app basically gives you access to much needed data and controls on the Enable tab, whereas still keeping the entire realm of online experience open for the child.
Mm.
So via the app, you can set screen times, you can set sleep time, and in case your children come across any inappropriate content online, which is a norm today, parents basically get alerted so that they can have a dialogue and a conversation with the child on what they came across.
Mm.
And you can monitor everything, but you are still made sure that you're not snooping or spying on the kids because privacy is a very important issue.
Yeah.
And snooping and spying will basically lead to mental health problems in the child.
Mm.
So we make sure that you stop short of that.
Yeah.
But you can block every app on the tab which you think is inappropriate. It works.
Mm. Okay. And what I'm hearing you say is the digital parenting app is available on both Android and the iOS stores, is it?
So right now the Enable tab works only with the Baatu Parenting app, which is available on Android as well as iOS.
Mm.
In the next 15 days, we will be launching something called as the Safe Surf app, so that it works on every device available in the market.
Amazing, amazing. So my next question is that, when it comes to managing the children's digital usage, uh, how does the Enable tab and your app continuously give feedback to the parents? Because, parents could be working somewhere.
So technically, what happens is, let's say you're in an office or you're at a movie, and the child is using the Enable tab. First, number one, it always relays the location of the enable tab. So you are very sure whether they're at home or they've gone outside. So this is relayed. Second, also what happens is the screen time used. We are used to the word screen time, but usually the number of hours used in basic terms is relayed to the parent, and they can also get to know which app is being used for how much time. Let's say you have given the tab for an educational purpose wherein they have to attend a online educational class, but they're on Facebook or Instagram or playing games. You basically get to know that. And with the app blocking facility, you can always make sure that those apps are blocked during the educational time. Also, in terms of a recommended usage for somebody who is in a fifth grade and above, would be an hour a day of screen time on a tablet or phone. So you can basically set these screen times as and how you wish for all 7 days. So if you want to give access on a Saturday and Sunday, you can still go ahead and give excess screen time on a Saturday and Sunday.
Very interesting. When I was reading about you and preparing for my conversation with you, I was also fascinated that you are also able to balance screen time with healthy offline activities. Tell me a little bit more about the offline activities that you are able to help parents and children with.
So we have our own WhatsApp community as well as our mailing list, wherein we kind of educate parents on what children can do apart from a phone. So we are all stuck to our phone. So we have made it a norm, whether it's TV or phone. So what all activities can children be indulged in for different age groups? So we make sure that we educate parents about it. And we also give references to other classes that are happening offline, so that parents have an option of choosing those near their localities, so that kids get both physical, mental, as well as online experience in their age.
Amazing, amazing. And the other thing I wanted to ask you was that, not all parents could be tech savvy. How could they use your products and services?
So we made it in such a way that even a layman can use it. Also, the app comes as of today in English, Hindi, and Kannada, which in the next 1 month is going to be given to all regional languages, India specific. So even a person who is not well versed with English will be able to go ahead and use the app and use the tab for the child.
I understand. And what role do you believe schools and educational institutions should be playing when it comes to digital parenting?
So today's schools, most of the schools are in a denial mode.
Correct.
So when we say denial mode, they basically go ahead and say that we do not, allow anything to do with technology in our schools. But it is a well accepted thing that as soon as the child goes home, technology is available to them. So the best thing that schools can do is create awareness, and a lot of awareness with something like a parental control app. What is the optimum time for screen time? What are the hazards? So, and also make sure that parents get involved in the online activities of child.
Interesting. And how do you educate parents about the risks of unsupervised digital usage?
So we have we have an in-house psychologist who basically attends to any of the parents or child who are basically not performing well, and where parents have another concern that they have been deviating from their studies or offline activities. So we are here to counsel them. Also, the thing is, we tell parents what is an appropriate amount of screen time, what are the appropriate apps, and also we have a whitelisting on the app itself where parents can block any website which they find inappropriate. And that list is also provided to them. But the onus is on the parent to take that interest and make sure that, they bring it to the child.
Very interesting. And then there's also this concept of geo-fencing. How do you discuss the importance of geo-fencing and how does it benefit the parents?
So now with geofencing, what basically happens is now a location of a child becomes very important for somebody who's working all the time. Whether people live in societies today, people live in villas, etc., but they don't tend to know where their child is most of the times if they've gone out playing, etc. The geofencing comes in wherein you can set safe zones, and let's say a home is a safe zone. As long as children are in the house, then they can be rest assured that things are fine. And once they move out, they basically get an alert that your child has left the safe zone. So then they can basically get in touch with the child to get to know where they're going, or are they fine? Is there anything else they have to adhere to?
Amazing. Sandeep, how do you see the AI or artificial intelligence transforming the landscape of digital parenting in the next few years? Because you're using AI a lot in your products.
Yes. First thing is we have our own model that is there on the Enable tab, and which will be on the Safe Search app as well, which will basically detect any harmful content. And this content can be pornographic, this content can be obscene content, whether it is images, video, or text, our model detects it and basically relays the information to the parent where they're doing. And on a future date, what we are also working on is to provide behavioral analysis to the parents. So a child's online experience, the whole month or a whole week, combined together to give the parents an insight into how the child is doing mentally, whether they have been on a low state, whether they're basically going into the online mediums, which can create aggravation in the future. So we're working on models which can basically help parents understand their child's behavior.
One more question regarding digital parenting, and then I want to move to the Enable tab. What advice would you give, Sandeep, to parents just starting to navigate digital parenting?
First thing is restricting kids. Make sure that they seek other sources where they can get their own information. Also creates a self-esteem issue. Now, as simple as this, if their friends have access to anything on the internet and they're discussing about it, and your child is clueless, so it creates a self-esteem issue. So basically, restricting them completely is a complete no-no, because they need to have the online experience in today's digital world. Also, second would be start parenting digitally at a very young age. Usually we are the ones who make sure that children kind of get into online. While having food, we show them a phone. When we want to have our own privacy, we just give them a phone or a tab and tell them, you go ahead and explore this. So when you start doing that, please make sure in mind the child doesn't know what it's seeing. Correct. So you make sure that you're careful first so that the children follow your footsteps.
Absolutely. Great advice. Let's now talk about the Enable tab. And you mentioned during our conversation so far that you acquired the Enable tab. Tell me a little bit about Enable tab and what makes Enable tab so unique as compared to so many other tabs or tablets on the market.
So we did almost an year of research before starting on the Enable tab. Now, the research was based basically purely from a point of view of what a child would want to use long term and what would benefit it in a long term, rather than the parent providing it. So the Enable tab is an in-house inbuilt Enable tab which works on Android 12, and all the apps that you want available on the Play Store or the whole digital internet experience can be seen completely through it. We have made sure it's a 10.1-inch tab so that children need not have to, keep it very close and make sure that their eyes are hurt watching it for a longer time. Also, the AI that we have built, which detects inappropriate content, is inbuilt on the Enable tab. So it's not an app, it's inbuilt over there. So that helps parents monitor it, as well as all the features that the digital parenting app gives you. Baatu Parenting app is hard coded into the Enable tab. Now, one thing that children emulate parents is seen everywhere. So we are making sure that they have the entire online experience, but also making sure that parents restrict them, remove UI.
Interesting, interesting. And Sandeep, what or how does the integration between the Enable tab and the Baatu Parenting app enhance the user experience?
So the Enable tab basically does not full-fledged work without it being connected to the parenting app.
I see.
And what we have also done is we have made it very simple, where it's as simple as scanning a QR code that pops up on the Enable tab at the start and just downloading the Baatu Parenting app. And it is made sure that both of them are connected, and which is a seamless process of hardly a minute. And then you can start using the app as well as the Enable tab.
Okay. And can you also explain to me how the AI capabilities of the Enable tab, and you mentioned it's hard coded into the Enable tab, but how do these improve digital parenting? And if you have an example of how this has benefited some parents, that would help.
So just to give you a brief, a child who's entering into teenage basically is a lot more explorative than a child who is 5 or 6 years old.
Correct.
Now they have a huge group of friends. The WhatsApp chat groups, etc., are everywhere, and they do find mediums that we don't know of to keep in touch with their friends.
Yeah.
Now, accidentally, now I was just speaking to a parent who uses the Enable tab and how they came across this inappropriate content. The child was searching for something called as anime, which is a Japanese culture. And while searching for anime on a Google search, it led to them viewing pornographic content.
Wow.
Now, because of our hard-coded AI, we could detect basically that there was something inappropriate. The parents were alerted, and the parents ended up speaking to the child, telling them that this is not safe, this is not for your age, and there is still time for it. Educate the child, which would have been a negative experience if the parent would have picked up a tab and got to know it.
Right.
But here, the dialogue was created wherein it turned out to be a positive experience for both child as well as the parent.
Wow. That is quite an amazing insight. The other aspect I wanted to ask you was that how does the ability of monitoring screen time benefit parents? And you did mention 1 hour is appropriate, and maybe over the weekend you can give them more time. But can you talk to me about the importance of Enable Tab screen time monitoring feature?
So what basically happens is time moves quickly. Everybody knows that. So let's say the parents are basically watching a movie, just to give you an example. When they're watching a movie, they're occupied for 2 hours, and the child can be in their room for studies, whereas they might be browsing the internet or chatting with their friends. Now, the parents have no clue, because by the time they go to the room, the child might be back to the books again. So where it works positively is Enable Tab relays information every 10 to 15 minutes once.
Wow.
And because it's continuously relaying information, and not by the end of the day, but every minute, every hour, the information is relayed. Parents get to know what their children are doing online. And that helps them in restricting what is for an appropriate screen time. And screen time addiction today is very real.
Yes.
Everywhere that you go, we started as parents, where we hand them over a device when we are busy with something. But then when they are coming up to their 10 years old, 11 years old, for them it's basically, they think that's the world out there and they're glued to it at all times. So this basically helps you out to make sure that you can keep a track. And also the enable tab switches off completely in sleep mode as soon as the screen time set is over.
Wow.
And to make it safe, we have made sure that the registered number in the Baatu Parenting app can still reach via call to the Enable tab, even if the screen time is over, so that you can still stay connected over call, and even if the children are not online.
Amazing. So time for one more question for you. And, this is looking ahead. I mean, I'm sure between the digital parenting app and Enable tab, and you said you will be making the thing available on other platforms as well, or other devices as well. As the founder of Baatu Tech, what next steps do you think Enable tab and Baatu will be looking at in the next few years?
The first thing is we want to create awareness regarding digital parenting. So with the launch of Safe Surf app, it becomes affordable for people who basically do not want to buy the Enable tab, but they have a used phone at home, which is usually handed over to the child. They can download the Safe Surf app and monitor their kids and parent their kids. So this is the first step that we're doing in the very near future. In the long term, we are integrating LMS, that is learning management software, into it, so that schools also can get involved in the parenting activities, wherein all the school activities like homeworks or books, etc., can be online, so that the children have access to it at all times. But then again, the parenting helps in making sure that they're studying and not spending time online browsing the internet.
Well said. Sandeep, on that note, I just want to say thank you so much for speaking to me. I've, always known or read about the challenges of screen time for children and digital parenting. My own children are much older. In fact, I'm a grandfather. But, it's been such an amazing conversation to learn what are the opportunities available for digital parenting. It was so fascinating to learn about the Enable tab and how it is finding a place for itself in this already crowded hardware space of tablets and phones. And I'm quite excited about the possibility of seeing your app on multiple devices. Thank you for speaking to me and good luck to you.
It was a pleasure, Ashutosh. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.